Well, hello everybody, welcome to another video tutorial. My name is Peter Drakulic, and today I would like to show you an example of using Krita, which is a free and very complete digital painting software you can download for free. Another one very popular is the My Paint free digital painting program. For My Paint, hopefully we're going to have some future tutorials, all right? But for the moment, I would like to show you how you can draw, how you can paint a tennis ball using Krita. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I have opened Krita here, so let's click on this button, all right, on the bottom right side, and let's create a new document. As you can see, this is our canvas, and I'm going to first change the color here to something like a neutral gray. So here it is, my layers, all right, layers tab over here. And by the way, if you don't see any of those windows here, right, or panels, you can always go up here to the settings and go where it says Dockers, all right, so Dockers, all right, and Dockers for selecting a specific panel that it might not visible in your layout configuration of Krita. So let's go ahead and start by adding some neutral color on the canvas, and I'm going to do so by using the paint bucket tool. So first I have to go over here to the advanced color selector panel and select a neutral gray, all right, and then go ahead and select your paint bucket tool from the toolbox here, all right, and just click on the canvas and it's going to change the color into a neutral gray, all right, which is good for contrast. All right, so let's go to the layers now panel and let's create a new layer by clicking on this button here, or equally by pressing the insert shortcut. So let's click on this button here and create a new layer. Okay, and here we're going to draw the circle for our tennis ball. All right, so Krita has some very nice tools, those over here for creating shapes or paths. So let's select the draw an ellipse tool, click on this button here, and you can see that it's going to draw an ellipse. And when I leave the mouse button, it's going to draw an ellipse. But first we have to select a darker color for our ellipse, and let's go to the brush presets panel and select another tool or brush, if you prefer, for drawing the ellipse. We can select, for example, a pencil, and down here you can see there is a field where you can actually, this is a filter for selecting the brush, a specific brush or a set of brushes, because there are so many here. So it's very convenient. It comes into handy. So just type in, let's say, P for the pencil, and here you are presented with the pencils we have available. I'm choosing the pencil 2B, for example. All right. Now I am holding down and drag the mouse here for drawing the ellipse. At the same time, because I need for this to be a perfect circle, I'm holding down Shift, so I'm constraining it to a circle. So I leave it, all right. So somewhere here, I think it's going to be okay. So, and here we have our circle that we're going to be using as a guide for painting our sphere, which is going to be our tennis ball. So now, next thing we want to do is to go up here to the Layers tab and create a new layer that I'm going to position underneath the layer of the circle, and this is going to be the layer actually that on which we're going to paint, excuse me, our tennis ball. So let's go ahead, create a new layer. As you can see, if your layer is on top, you can always drag this layer, all right, and place it underneath the number 2 layer, which is the layer with the circle. So let's go ahead and switch over to my brush tool, which is this over here, and now I can start painting over this layer and start painting my tennis ball. But first I have to select from our brush preset tab the right tool, which is going to be a rake brush. So let's go down here to the search field here, to the filter, and let's type in rake, for example. So now we're presented with all the rake bristle rake brushes we have in Krita available here. So let's select the rake bristle dry, and now here it's a good tip. Here's a good tip. You can hold down Shift and then click, left mouse click and drag, all right, and you can see you can change the size of your brush. So hold down Shift, give it some bigger size, and then, I have to tell you here that I'm using a tablet, all right, a pen tablet or digitizer. So it's very important for us to have a nice a tablet to use. All right. So I'm selecting the rake bristle, shifted to give it some size, some bigger size, and then start, all right, some brush strokes. But as you can see, I have selected a dark color. I need to go to the color selector first, this tab here, and select a white color, all right, first. And this is going to be an underpaint, as we call it. So let's paint an underpaint, right? So with the highlights, if you prefer. So it's a good idea to not to push too much, right? Your brush, just slightly, just touch the tablet, all right? So you can give it this fluffy here, fuzzy look, as you can see, all right? So it's a good idea to work in concentric circles, all right, and at the same time trying to give some short brush strokes and give this fluffy look for your tennis ball here, all right. So okay, something like so, all right. And now, after we have added the highlights, we're going to switch over to a rather yellow-green, color with some gray. I want for this to be vivid, rather vivid, yeah. And this is going to be the color of the area of the sphere where the light, is cast. Let's say, in our case, that the sun or the light source is somewhere over here. So, and the rays, the light rays, are coming from this way. All right. So let's go ahead and add some shading to our tennis ball. All right. Try to not cover all the highlights, the white highlights underneath. You can always add some more later on, of course. So let's add some green, color here. And in digital painting, always it's a good idea to think in terms of layers, right? That are the one on top of the other, layers of color, right? So something like that. And now let's switch over to a darker green, something like that, so that I can shade the dark area of my sphere, right? You can see I need to add this kind of brush strokes now for the darker side of my tennis ball. And the nice thing with Krita is that, as you can see over here, on the right side of the color wheel, we have Krita has keeps in the memory, right? Stores in the memory all the last colors you have used, so you can easily pick up any color you want and start painting very easily without having to reselect to the color. All right, so something like so. Of course, you can always add some lighter green over here and there. All right, so you can give this fluffy look, but don't overdo with this. All right, so something like so. Okay, now next thing we want to do is, of course, now let's go to the layers tab, and we don't need to see the layer number 2 with the circle. So let's click on this eye icon over here and just hide this layer. All right, now I want to draw this very characteristic curve, all right, of any tennis ball. So let's create a new layer, and now I want to go to the brush presets, and in my configuration of Krita I'm using a package of brushes that they don't come by default with Krita, but you have to download for free and to install them first. And it is what we call, they call them the Muses, brushes package. You can very easily find it from the Krita website, I think. So let's type in the search field down here, Muses. They are very good brushes indeed. So we have filtered out the Muses package. Here you can see we have a lot of options here, and somewhere here I'm going to select the oil brush small, right? And in my new layer that I have created, layer number 4, let's place it, yeah, it's on top of the other. All right, I'm going to paint, all right, this curve here. Okay, so let's go ahead and first hold down Shift and click and drag with your pen on the tablet until you have this size, and let's start drawing. Of course, let's switch over to a gray color. All right, and let's start drawing this curve here, all right, which is very characteristic of any tennis ball. All right, so something like so. You can see we have this here, this effect. Now let's go ahead and add some highlights due to the shadows here. So switch over to a white color. You can click and pick this up from over here, from these colors here. Let's minimize a little bit, and don't worry about now this contrast here, because I'm going to show you. We're going to blend those two colors together, as I'm going to show you in just a while. So first thing I want to do is to go to the Layers tab, and I want to, for this layer with this curve here, I want to keep the transparent pixels intact. So I want to click on this icon here, right, this one, and now have locked the transparent pixels. And I've done this because I want to paint over only the painted part of my layer. So let's go to the brush presets again, and from the Muses pack again, let's go ahead and select the Blender Soft brush. Of course, you can select any brush you have available, like the Mixed Dull brush that comes with the default Krita configuration. So let's go ahead and start blending those colors. You can see only the painting, the opaque pixels are being painted now, and I can give this a feel of an emboss or embossing, all right, for my for this curve here. All right, so I have something like so. Now perhaps you would like to erase some brush strokes you don't like, and let's switch over to the layer with the tennis ball, and let's switch over to another brush preset, a brush like the oil, for example, the oil small. let's find this brush again. All right. Now let's say I wanted to erase some part of some hair from over here. So let's go ahead and switch over to the eraser mode by pressing E on your keyboard. So by pressing E, all right, now I can switch over to the eraser mode, so I can erase some hair here and there. So I can give this effect here, all right, of this curve which has no hair. All right, so I make this more, more believable or more realistic, if you prefer. Now, I would like to add a layer with the shadow, and in a following tutorial, I hope I'm going to show you how you can achieve some very realistic shadows. But for today, let's keep it simple, and let's add just a horizon, all right, line here, and so we define the plane on top of which the sphere is now sitting, and let's draw some simple shadow, a simple shadow, not an accurate one. In the following tutorial, I'm going to show you, depending upon the direction of the light rays, how you can add a very accurate shadow with perspective and things like that. So first, let's go ahead and create a new layer underneath the layer with our tennis ball. New layer here, and now having our the same brush, the oil brush, let's go ahead and select a dark gray color, something like so perhaps, and let's start adding some shadow here, right? Well, it's going to be a very simple shadow, and but the shadow is very important because it really establishes the point on top of which, on the plane on top of which our object is sitting, all right, it's placed. So let's add a very simple shadow here, and let's say I would like to make the shadow a little bit softer. So let's go ahead and switch over to my blender soft brush from over here. Okay, and let's try to give it some, this soft look, right? So we have our simple shadow here. In the following tutorial, hopefully I'm going to show you shadows with perspective and all, and things like that. So let's add our horizon line now, okay, that defines the plane. And for this purpose, I'm switching over to the line tool here. Let's click on this button here with the line tool. All right, select the line tool, go select a pencil, let's say, or a something, maybe the same brush, no problem, the oil brush, no problem, it's the same thing, just we're going to give it a very small size by holding down shift, all right, and shift, and first of course make this quite small, and then switch over to this line tool and click and drag, and you can see, all right, now that I can draw a line here, but if I hold down shift, my line is constrained to to some maybe 45 degrees angle. So when I leave the mouse, you can see, I have this my horizon line. Of course, there is some transparency here on my tennis ball, but you can always go ahead to your layer with your tennis ball and add some more, some more paint over it, and so you won't have any transparency. Switch over to the brush tool and start adding those brush strokes here, so you don't have any problem with the transparency. So that's it. That was our tutorial for today. Excuse me, I want to select my rake brush instead. So let's switch over to my rake brush and start adding some some hair here and there. And that was our tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something from this. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time with a hopefully interesting topic, hopefully soon. Until then, have fun. and goodbye.